Hey, hello, Junction City Today fans. I am your host, Craig Bielik. You see me a lot. However, you don't see this guy a lot. This is Gage Froerer, Weber County Commissioner. A lot of you know Gage, and but we don't get him on this program very much. And we want to welcome you out today, Gage.
Well,
how you doing?
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate
You
the
doing
invite.
all right? Everybody healthy and all that kind of stuff?
Everybody's staying healthy. We've got our vaccine, so
Good.
we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Good for you. Good for you. That's nice.
It is. It is.
I got to say that really is. One of the reasons we have Gage and our other commissioners come on our program is, a lot of people don't know what a county commissioner does. And county commissioners do way more than you think, And we've had Jim Harvey. We've also had Scott Jenkins. Gage is our third county commissioner. And I thought we'd give Gage an opportunity to come in here and tell us what you do. I mean, because again, people know you do something, right? They know you're sitting at your desk doing something. But what are you doing? You and I were talking right before the show. We talked about the first CARES Act.
Correct.
And the funding that came through there. We've been talking about issues with Pineview Dam, all that kind of stuff. Tell me about that CARES. That's a great place to start.
Well, let's start with CARES. So, as most people know, the federal government through the state distributed a great amount of money to the counties and the cities. Mm-hmm. And the cities, between the cities and counties, we ended up working with about $45 million that we dispersed in several areas. The first to small business.
Okay.
The second to nonprofits. Mm-hmm. And the third to institutions like our school districts, those type of things.
Now, this is COVID relief. That's one of the things we probably should say right at the front. So a lot of businesses had to close their doors. Some of them had to close their doors months on end.
Right.
Even when they reopened, they might be half capacity. They might have had to install plexiglass barriers, all of those sorts of things. Same thing with the schools. The school had to figure out how to get desks apart, all that kind of stuff. So the government gave some money to you guys, okay?
Right. Correct.
And there was an application process. If you were a small business, you had to apply.
Correct.
And then you guys were able to disperse money to give them a hand.
That's correct. Yeah, and we were able to really build this program from the ground up because the federal government didn't give a great deal of direction.
Yeah.
What they said is, you can't do this, but they didn't tell us what we could do.
Yeah.
So we really had to come up with the application process. And where we started, thanks to John Bond and his team, mm-hmm. was that, as you remember, the government came out and said, if you are a particular business, restaurant, et cetera, you've got to shut your doors.
Right.
You didn't have a choice. You didn't have a decision to be made, well, do I stay open or not?
Horrible.
You were forced to close.
Horrible.
So what we did is we looked at that group, said these are the people that first need the money, mm-hmm. COVID relief. So that was the first group. We called it our A bracket. Mm-hmm. That without question, we just said, give us the numbers that you can justify you've lost because of shutting down, and we'll reimburse you. Mm-hmm. The second group was one of those that, like our B group, the restaurants, et cetera, that had been forced to change their mode of operation, distance,
Right.
Outside
you were a
delivery.
buffet, and all of a sudden you can't be a buffet.
So
how
we
do
helped
work?
those, and then we helped a lot of the nonprofits because a lot of the functions, as you know, being a community activist, they raise their money through the events they hold, the dinners, et cetera, and they couldn't do those.
Right.
So their donations were substantially reduced because they couldn't hold their events.
Right. These people like the YCC, they're helping, women in crisis in our community. And they got a lot of their funding by holding a gala.
Right. Exactly.
They got $80,000 from that gala a year or whatever it was. All of a sudden they can't hold that.
All of a sudden they can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. But the need is still there. Yeah. In fact, even greater.
In fact, what we see is it happens to increase because of the COVID with people between, job loss, et cetera, it goes up.
Yeah. Was that hard to kind of figure out how to disperse that money? I mean, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, Susie needs shoes and Bobby needs a bike and, Danny needs an art card and all that kind of stuff. And, how are we going to pay for all of this? And
well, yeah. And it's kind of like you do with your kids. Mm-hmm. Everybody has wants. Mm-hmm. And everybody, all the businesses, all the nonprofits, they all have their wants. What we wanted to focus in on is what's the true need? Mm-hmm. What does this business need to survive? What does this nonprofit need to make sure they can get it through to next year? Mm-hmm. So we weren't able to fund everybody's wants. Obviously, $45 million when you spread it out with the number.
Sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a lot, but see, our average our average payoff to the businesses was under $15,000. We did over 650 businesses.
Really?
And some were a little higher than that, but our average, because we concentrated on small business, was about 15,000.
Yeah. Gage, it wouldn't be out of, it wouldn't be out of the world to think that some of these businesses were making $1 million a year.
Exactly. Right.
Okay.
Right.
And 45 million, there's only 45 of them. There's hundreds upon hundreds of businesses. Yeah. Plus then you had the B list also.
Then you had the B list, right.
And then the C list were schools. And
the C list were nonprofits, institutions. We helped our schools, Weber County schools, Ogden City schools, both received substantial donations, CARES Act money. Yeah. Which helped them with contract tracing, helped them with broadband expansion. Their world was, the teachers were turned upside down because they didn't know quite what program they were using on any given day. Were they teaching live? Were they, so the school districts were very much appreciative of the money.
Yeah.
Nonprofits were as well.
So overall, did the CARES, I saw a couple, there's a few businesses in Weber County that shut down.
Yeah, there were.
And there's even a couple that put signs in the door saying, hey, we couldn't hack it. We couldn't get through this. But did it help overall? Did you hear from a lot of businesses saying, thank you? We
heard from a substantial number, more than you probably think. Thank you notes, telephone calls. We had people show up to our commission meetings saying, without your help, and again, it was $15,000 is not a huge amount of money.
No.
But what it did for a lot of these small businesses, it just allowed them to keep their doors open for 2 more months as we started to make progress. We saw the light at the end of the tunnel. We just didn't know when we'd get to the end of the tunnel. We still are, I think, striving to get there.
We're still trying to get there.
We're still trying to get there, but at least we know we've got an end game that we're shooting for.
Well, and I think it's important for people to know that when you take this money and you disperse it to a business in need, a lot of people think that's where the money stops.
Right.
They don't realize that the business owner paid his wait staff for that month, and they paid their rent and bought groceries. Exactly that money recirculates.
Yeah, they went and bought gas. They bought groceries. They were able to pay the babysitter.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
There's a lot of people I think that money just goes into a hole.
Yeah.
Or somebody puts it in a sock and sticks it under their bed or something like that. That isn't how it works.
No. This money was spent. You can look at the sales tax revenue. You look at our numbers for Weber County in the state of Utah. It was actually up.
Okay.
We expected a substantial decrease, and it was actually slightly above what it was prior year.
Wow. That's fascinating.
Which is amazing.
That took up a lot of your time. So now what are you working on?
Took a lot of time. Well, a number of things. Obviously, a year and a half ago when I first came in, we revamped the economic development department, and we joined forces with Davis County on a regional basis. When I looked at it from a small business perspective, as a real estate broker, I could always see, look, there's different communities out there, different counties competing against each other for these businesses that want to come in. Why not focus on the region? Why not say, look, Davis County or Weber County, we don't really care where you land. We want you in northern Utah.
Right.
Basically, it was, Salt Lake was getting a lot of attention. Utah County was getting a lot of attention. We weren't getting a lot of attention up in this northern part. And I think a lot of that is because we were sending mixed messages. So we joined forces with Davis County, formed what we called the Northern Utah Economic Alliance. Chris Roybal is our chair, and working hand in hand with Davis County and tried to cut down the geographic borders. Because as you well know, when companies come in to locate in northern Utah or Utah, they don't care about city borders. They don't say I have to be in West Haven or I have to be in Roy. They say, give me the best location.
Yeah.
Give me the best property that we can have, the best building with access to employees. So that's what we do.
Because I know their employees don't necessarily have to live in the city. You might live in Layton, but you work in Logan or something like that, and that's the choice they make. But so when that happens, do businesses call you up and say, we're thinking about coming to northern Utah, and this is what we need. We need rail access, and we need this much water, and we need property that's zoned for the size of a building, and we're going to need 350 welders or whatever that is. And then you guys start to work, you guys sit down and go, where can we place these guys?
Yeah, exactly. So EDC Utah, Economic Development Corporation of Utah, that was formed a number of years back, they basically are the clearinghouse. So these companies coming in from all parts of the country and international right now call EDC Utah and say, look, we need 200 acres, we need 50,000 square feet, we need 150 employees. So that message goes out across the state through EDC Utah. We partner with EDC Utah. That gets translated to our Economic Development Northern Utah, and we put through a proposal.
And so we've had some wins.
We've had some big wins.
Some really big wins. I want you to mention, I know there's one going into the old Wayne's Guards on 2nd and Washington.
2nd and Washington.
Yeah.
That was one that came through Northern Utah Economic Development.
Right.
That was huge. And we've got 3 or 4 others that we'll probably announce in the next 60, 90 days.
No, don't wait. Announce them now. Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me right now, Gage. Just in my ear. I won't tell these people.
Well, one of them has to do with manufacturing. How's that?
I love it.
Well, then let's not forget about what impact Northrop Grumman has had with the Roy Innovation Center that came about because of MIDA and conjunction with Davis County as well.
And these are the things that keep you busy.
This
is what you do all day.
And, our primary, I always say, people ask me, well, what's your biggest job? My biggest job is no different than when I was in the legislature, it's the budget. My job is to make best use of taxpayer dollars.
You got to be the dad.
Be the dad. And,
you got to be the dad.
That's a harder job than you might think because, again, a lot of people have a lot of wants. And what we try to do is look at the needs.
Yeah.
But, our whole, I'm going to say our commission agenda since I've come on with Commissioner Jenkins and Harvey, of course, since we're all, in the business environment as well, is we've taken a business-like approach to government rather than a government approach to, okay, let's try to be everything to everybody.
Yeah.
Business, you can't do that.
Right.
Business, you have to decide what your goals are, focus, and that's what we do is we focus on where can we help, where can we best spend those hard-earned taxpayer dollars.
That's correct.
And obviously, I think that we truly believe that the best use of that money remains in the businessman's pocket or the family's pocket, not government.
Yeah. Yeah, get it back out there circulating.
Yeah, let them decide how to spend it, not government.
Get it circulating. Did you guys know Gage did this? Did you guys know this is what he does all the time? How can they find out more? If people want to know more about what is going on with the commission, where do they go?
Well, we've got a great resource, our Weber County website. We have updates on and we do things with Instagram. We do things with Facebook. We post almost 2 or 3 times a week on both Instagram and Facebook. Our Weber County site. Go to all our events, from rodeos through events happening at the Golden Spike, at the Egyptian Perry Theater.
Well, all of those places.
All those, everything.
That's all Weber County property.
So all the Weber County, from rodeos through plays, through the singing,
everything,
musical, everything we see, we touch. And we have some of the best facilities here in the county that people would have access to that aren't available in other venues without having 10,000 other people.
Yeah.
That's
this is your tool. This
is
available for all of you people out there watching right now. Gage has just given you some ideas of how you can figure out what's going on here in the county, what you can do about it. Be informed. Know where your dollars are going. You have a say. Also, that's the other thing. The Weber County Commission will answer the phone. If you call them up and say, we think, we need this or we need that. Gage is an elected official, and he is a person that, if you don't agree with him, I guess, well, my goodness, you could vote him out. You won't because he's a great guy. But you have a say out there. That's the thing you need to know is that this is your government, and we just heard what they did with COVID relief funds to help people out there in our county. Gage, this has been great.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I want you back. You going to come back?
You let me know. I'll be happy to be back.
All right.
Always
He's going to come back. I'm going to call him today to get a golf course built just for me. Just for me. Well, not just for me, but for me and the people I invite.
Yeah,
my friends.
Your invitation.
That kind of stuff. This has been Junction City Today. Weber County Commissioner Gage Froerer. Gage, please come back. Let's keep talking.
You let me know.
All right.
Love
buddy.
to.
See you later.
Craig.
Bye.
Take
Look,
care.
he's busy. He's got to leave right now before. He can't even wait till we're off camera.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Gage.
We'll cut it short.
Greg Bielik, your host with Junction City Today. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.